Hello everyone! Today I will show you how you can record your next online presentation or conference talk with your phone. So when giving an online presentation, very often we just use a slide presentation tool, and then for example you would add a video of you just by the side, or you could also use online conference tools or online meeting tools like Zoom and then just record it from there. But the problem with this technique is that it's often not really engaging and people are maybe just bored by your talk. So what you will learn today is how you can record yourself in your home, in your flat, by a simple means, for example with your phone, or we will also have a look at how you can record yourself using a webcam, a GoPro or a big camera. So when using your phone for recording, it's very important that you mount it to somewhere where it's stable and where the position will not change over the time while you're recording yourself. So for example, you could use a tripod as I'm doing here, but you can also use something else just to have it fixed somewhere. When planning your recording, so you should think about the lighting, you should think about your background, and you should also think about the composition of the image. So for the composition, it's very important that you leave some space for the content of your talk. It really depends on your presentation. So for example, when it's more about what you're talking, you can for example just step into the middle of the frame and it's more about you. But in a, for example, conference talk, it's more about the content, more about maybe your paper you want to present. And then it's good if you leave some room, for example, for figures and for images you will add afterwards in that blank space here. In general, of course, it's good to have a decent quality of the video. So for example, you could go to a bigger camera, but if you don't have that at hand, or if you cannot borrow that from someone, it's very feasible also to just record it with your phone, as I'm doing right now. But as I have the means, I will now just switch to the better quality to show you how that. So now I switched to my big camera and you can quite clearly see the difference in imaging quality. As you see, I'm standing in my home, so it's not a professional studio or something like that, so you can also see maybe the lighting is not perfect. But if you're just recording that for an online presentation or an online conference, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's as good as you can make it with the means you have. So with a big camera, in contrast to a mobile phone, you have multiple settings you can choose. So for example, you can set the aperture, and what the aperture does is it sets the range in which you are focused. So with that you can also have nice effects where you can make the background blurred and yourself are in focus. But it's a bit difficult if, for example, you're recording alone, because it can quite easily happen that you're then out of focus. So maybe when you're recording alone, you can set the aperture to a bit higher value, then this depth range is a bit broader and you not run that easily into the problem of being unfocused yourself. Beside that, in general, it's quite nice if you have a second person that can help you in recording, because then they can check, for example, if you're focused, or they can also adjust the zoom level if it's necessary. With a big camera you can also set, for example, how bright the image should look with quite simple settings, but that also depends on which camera you're using. But as not everybody has such a big camera at their disposal, we can also think about how we can record it with easier means like a webcam. So the next thing I will show you is how you can record yourself using a webcam. And you see, now I'm using a quite low-cost webcam. It's not even full HD. But this is a webcam that many people are using for their Zoom conferences, and so I think that's also a valuable option that you can use to record your online talk. So with a webcam there are two steps. First, you need to put it somewhere. Often it has a clamp mechanism or something like that. So again, a tripod would help, but you can also use something else where you can just clamp it to. Maybe you have part of your furniture or whatever you find that you can clamp to. Maybe your TV when it has the right height. And then you need to connect it in the second step to your computer. And at a, for example, Windows computer, there's often a standard app installed which is just called Camera. And when you open it up, you can just simply record your talk. You can also see yourself, you can see if the light works, and you can also see that you have again this nice image composition where you have enough space for your slides. Or like I said before, if it's more about you giving a speech, you should maybe be more centered in the video. But that's also personal preference, so you can do however you feel like in that regard. Okay, and now on to the third option that I have at my disposal, the GoPro. So when you record your talk with the GoPro, it depends a bit on which model you have. For example, I have the GoPro Hero 8, which is not the newest one, there's already a version 10. But with this GoPro, I can set the angle mode to linear. So that means it's not the like typical GoPro, more like a fisheye lens effect. We just have a linear lens effect, like you would also have with your phone and with other means. And then when you just put it, for example, to full HD, which is completely okay for an online presentation, you can zoom in a bit to get the same framing that you have, for example, with the big camera or with your phone. So that's how it looks like with the GoPro. So with the GoPro, you have to check the audio quality, also with the webcam as we had it before. So for example, if your audio is not good enough, there are some methods you can choose. So for example, you could use your earphones from your phone, and then you could just record the audio also on your phone. Or if you're actually recording with your phone, you could, for example, borrow the phone of someone else and record the audio there. But if you do that, you have to sync the audio to the video. And that you can do by a little trick, so you can just clap in your hand. And this clapping noise is quite distinct in the audio channel, and you can sync it up afterwards with the video. And this and other techniques, how to work with your video in the end and how to edit it, I will show you in a second video which will follow after this. So these were all the different options I have to create a conference talk, and I'm quite sure you will find yourself having one of these as well. And now you can actually record your next online presentation or conference talk with that techniques. So thank you very much for joining this tutorial. This is by no means a full tutorial. It's more about my opinion or how I would like to do it. So if you have any questions or recommendations, please just write me in the comments. And there will be two following videos. One will be about how you can prepare yourself for the recording and what you should keep in mind while you're recording yourself. And the third video will be about how you can then actually work with the video files and different tools on your computer. So stay tuned and bye.